So hello everyone, this is Abhishek Verma and today I am going to discuss the problem number of ways to earn points. So there is a test that has n types of questions. You are given an integer target and a zero index 2D array types where types I is counts I comma marks I indicates that there are counts I questions of the ith type and for each one of them worth marks I points. So we have to return the total number of ways we can earn exactly target points, and we have to return it by taking modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7 because the answer may be very large. So what is given in the question, let's try to understand it by taking the example. So so let us suppose they are given an 2D array like this, means 6 comma 1, then we have 3 comma 2, then we have 2 comma 3, and let's suppose the target is 6. Okay, the target is 6. So what they are given in the question means for this value, for the first value, this is the number of questions. This is the number of questions and this is the number of marks for each question, means how much marks we get if we solve the one question. This is the number of marks. This is the number of marks. So we have that much questions and we have to return the number of ways by how much ways we can get that much marks. Means let us suppose the one of the ways means I'm indexing them 0, 1 and 2. So one of the possible way is if I solve only 0 type of question. So if I solve only 0 type of question, so since we have 6 questions and each one contains 1 mark, so of course we can get 6 marks because 1 plus 1 plus 1 6 times is 6. So this is one of the possible way. What is the another way? So let us suppose, so let us suppose what I have done means if I attempt only first type of questions, means if I attempt only this type of questions, then since we have 3 questions and each one contains 2 marks, so if I attempt all of them, all the 3 questions, then I can get 6 marks. Okay, in this is also the possible way. In this way also we can get the 6 marks. So there are another ways also, means let us suppose I attempt 2 questions of the first type, then I can get 2 plus 2 4 marks, and 2 questions of the 0 type, then in this way also we can get 6 marks. So as you see, there are so many ways, means either I can get the marks greater than 6, or we can get the marks less than 6, or we can get the marks equal to 6. But we require only those number of ways in which we can get the marks equal to 6. So since there are so many ways, means let us suppose the number of total number of ways are n, and we require only out of m ways, means there are only m ways that are we required, because the ways in which we are getting the marks greater than 6 and the ways in which we are getting the marks less than 6, they are of no use for us. We require only the number of ways in which we are getting the marks equal to 6. So since there are so many ways and we are opting among all the ways, so that's why we are using recursion. So in this case we are using recursion because for each and every case we have either we can take that case or we cannot take this case. Means if you solve the knapsack problem, is unbounded knapsack problem, so this question is similar to that problem. This question is very much similar to that problem. So let's take another example. So if I have total number of questions 6, and for each question we can get 1 mark, or the second one is if I have total number of question 2 and for each question we can get 2 marks. So as you see, at every case we have 2 options, means either we can solve that question or we cannot solve that question. Means of course if we solve that question, then we can get the marks corresponding to that question, and if we cannot solve that question, then we can't get the marks. So at each and every step, not in each and every step, for each and every questions we have 2 options. Means since we have 6 question of 0 type, let us suppose 0 1, 0 2, 0 3, 0 4, 0 5 and 0 6. So for each and every question we have 2 options, either we solve this question or we cannot solve this question. So in this way we can find the total number of ways, and we consider only those ways in which we can get the total marks that are equal to 6. So here for each and every step we have 2 options, either we solve this question or we cannot solve this question. So as you see, so let's see the code and try to understand it by seeing the code, and after that I will try to explain it more. Okay. yeah. So this is the code. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the recursion, means don't see this array, don't see this, I will explain it after some time. Don't see this. So what I'm doing is I'm just calling the function and passes the parameters like n I is the index, means where I currently am, and target is the value that we require. And don't see this value, okay, I will explain it after some time. So if the target is 0, so this is very simple, means if the target is 0, then we have to return 1, because it is given in the question that target is always greater than 1. So if we reach at the point where the target is 0, then of course the answer is 1, because there is one way, means we cannot attempt any question. So in that way we can also get the result 0, get the mark 0. So there is one way. So that's why if the target is 0, then I am returning 1. And if I is greater than or equal to n, so I is the current index where we currently are. So if the I becomes greater than or equal to n, that means we have to return 0, means we are out of the range, means we are out of the limits. So that's why we are returning 0. So these are the base cases for the recursion. And now we have two options for each and every question, means either we solve that question or we cannot solve this question, means either we consider or we cannot consider, means either we take or we not take, and take means not take. Don't see this line, okay, I will explain this line after some time. So for each and every question we have two options, not for each and every index, for each and every question. So that's why I'm doing this, okay, I will explain this. So see, let us suppose the name of the array is types. It is given in the question, the name of the array is types, okay. So what is there in the types I comma 0? If I might ith index, and type I comma 0 stores the number of questions, and types I comma 1, wait, and types I comma 1, and for types I and 1 stores the marks for each question, okay. We have only two values, we have only two values for each index. First, the first value stores the number of question, and the second store marks for each question. This is vector of vector, means 2D array. So that's why I'm doing this. So for each types I comma 0 means number of questions, and I comma 1 means marks of questions. So that's what I'm doing here, means I'm traversing for all the questions, means types I comma 0 stores the number of questions, and the number of questions started from 1, means this is not the index, means j is not the index, j is the number of questions. So either I solve one question, or I solve two questions, or I solve three questions of ith type. So that's what I'm doing. So that's why I'm running a loop, means either I'm solving the question or I'm not solving the question. So if I'm solving the question, means if j into types, because this is the marks. So if the marks we are getting, if we solve that question, is less than the target, then we are taking that question, we are considering that question. Otherwise we are simply return from the loop, and we are not and we are coming to the not take case. So if we are solving this question, if we are solving that question, so for each question we have two options, either we solve that question or we are not solving that question. Means let me explain. Means let us suppose I have something like this, means I have 4 questions, and that for each question we are getting 2 marks. So since we have 4 questions, let us suppose the question is a, means there are 4 questions of a types, okay, a, and for each question I'm getting 2 marks. So here also I have so many options, means either I solve only one question, or I solve 2 questions, or I solve 3 questions, or I solve all the 4 questions. So that's why I'm running a loop for all the questions, means either I solve only one question, or I solve all the questions, or we can solve in between something, okay. So that's why I'm running the loop. And if the value is less than the target, means whatever marks we can get if we solve that, if we solve that much questions, if that value is less than the target, then we can take this. Otherwise we can simply break the loop and coming from that loop, okay. So if I solve that question, then what I'm getting is my target becomes target minus j into types I into 1. So what is j? J is the number of questions we solve. Means let us suppose I solve 2 questions, and each question contains 4 marks. So 2 into 4 means 8. So means I'm getting 8 marks. So that's why I'm multiplying j into types I into 1, okay, and I'm taking the marks. I'm taking the mod. And if I cannot consider, means in the not take case, I'm just, means target remains target, and I'm just, Yeah. So in the not take case, I'm just skip that value, means I'm doing I plus 1 and the target remains target. So that's what I'm doing, and in this way I'm simply getting my result. So what I'm doing is, okay, so since if I analyzing the time complexity for this question, so if I see the constraints, so the constraints are very large, means the target is in between 1 to 1000 and the value of n is in between 1 to 50. So for this question, the time complexity is, let's analyze the time complexity. Yeah. So basically for each case we have two options, means either we take that value or we cannot take that value. So in this way we have big O of means exponential time complexity big O of 2 raised to the power n, and also we are running a for loop inside that, so it in worst case it will be big O of n. Okay, big O of n, or yeah, big O of n. So that is the time complexity, and this is very high, means this is too much, means of course we can get the TLE because the value of n is still 50, and so this is very, means not n, here we have n cross target. Okay, so the time complexity is very high, so that's how, means we have to optimize the recursion, and for optimizing recursion we have a technique, that is dynamic programming. Means dynamic programming is used to optimize the recursion. Okay, dynamic programming. So basically we have two options for dynamic programming, means either we can do memoization or we can do tabulation. Means memoization is simply top down dynamic programming and tabulation is bottom up dynamic programming. Okay? Bottom dynamic programming. So in this question I'm solving this question by using memoization because it is very easy, and it reduces the time complexity same as the tabulation way. Okay, same as the tabulation does, but it requires extra space, so that's why people generally prefer tabulation. But memoization is also very simple, and so you can also solve this question by using tabulation, but in this question I'm using the memoization approach. So what is memoization? So let us suppose, so I'm simply explaining the memoization. So when we have multiple recursion calls, let us suppose I have a call at f of n, and if I'm calling the function again and again, let us suppose here we are calling for n minus 1, here we are calling for n minus 2, again we are doing the same. Means if we have multiple recursion call and some of the call are repetitive, means if we have multiple repetitive recursion call, let us suppose here I'm also calling the for n minus 2, and here I'm also calling for n minus 3, so, and here I'm also calling for n minus 3. So since you see in this case the calls are repetitive, means here we are finding the answer for f of n minus 2, and here also we are finding the answer for f of n minus 2, here also we are finding for f of n minus 3, and here also we are finding the answer for n minus 3. So when the calls are repetitive, then in memoization we just simply make a array. It will be 2D or it will be 2D array or 1D array, it depends on the question. We are simply making the array and we are storing the result for each and every case, so that we skip the repetitive work. What we are doing means, if let us suppose I get the answer for f of n minus 2 is x, and if I store this answer, then here I can just simply return the x. Means we cannot have to again do the same calculation, we just simply return the x if I store it here. So this is what memoization is. Memoization is very simple. We can make an array and we can store the result for each and every value. So that's what I'm doing here. Means I'm just simply making an vector, mean 2D vector. This is like array. Means I'm making a 2D vector. Why 2D vector? Because here we have two parameters that are changing. Means one is the target and the second one is I. So that's why I'm making 2D vector. So what is the maximum value n will take? It will go from 0 to n, 0 to n minus 1 or 0 to n. That's why I'm taking n plus 1. And what is the maximum value target will take? 0 to target, but I'm doing target plus 1 for safe side, and I can fill the whole 2D array by minus 1, and I'm passing the array in the function. Okay, and here I'm just checking. Okay, by doing just two steps we can convert any recursive question into the memoization. We can memoize it by doing just simple two steps. Means if I solve the question, it means if I solve the sub problem for I and target before, then I'm just simply return dp of I comma target, because if the value is not minus 1, because initially we fill the whole array by minus 1, and if the value is not minus 1, that's when that means we can get the result before. So that's why I'm simply returning the dp of I and target. And if And if the problem is new, means if the value is -1, that means we have to solve that problem. So I'm just storing the result in the DP of I comma target. So in this way we can memorize the solution, and we can get the time complexity of which is something quadratic, and we can't get the TLE. So that's it for this question. Thank you.